Fort Saskatchewan's political forum for the 2012 Alberta election took place Monday, April 9th at the Dow Centennial Centre. The event was organized by the Fort Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce and featured 5 of the 6 candidates running for office in the Fort Saskatchewan-Vegreville riding. The 6th candidate, Independent Peter Schneider, only declared on the day of the forum, and organizers didn't have time to include him. Candidates with the NDP, Liberal, and Evergreen Party were part of the evening, but the focus was all on the PC candidate Jackie Fensky and Wildrose candidate Shannon Stubbs, who received almost every question from the floor.
My name is Chris. I'm the NDP candidate. I'm 21 years old. Many of you are probably confused, thinking I'm about 16, but I promise I am old enough.
My name is Spencer Dunn. I'm here as the candidate for the Alberta Liberal Party. A young, passionate local candidate who believes that every citizen should have the opportunity to vote for a candidate whose values and ideologies align with their own.
Evergreen Party candidate Matt Levicki summed up the frustration for the other 3 candidates.
I know everyone's minds are on whether they should stay with the old Conservatives or join the new Conservatives.
Liberal candidate Spencer Dunn soldiered on regardless to present his party's platform.
What myself and the Alberta Liberals are offering is a fresh, bold, pragmatic platform that is basically an investment in Alberta's future. Our election platform deals with huge issues facing Albertans like healthcare and education right now, issues that have gone unsolved for a long time and that common sense solutions can really fit. These solutions are based on our 3 keys of good people, big ideas, and a good government.
NDP candidate Chris Fulmer spoke out against shipping raw bitumen out of Alberta.
Our stance is that we believe that bitumen should be upgraded within the province of Alberta rather than shipping jobs outside of the province. The pipeline only provides part-time security, where an upgrader can provide hundreds, if not thousands of jobs for years to come. It's time for change, and I believe that I can be part of this change. I believe I can be a positive voice for Albertans, and if you give me the chance, I would love to represent you in the legislature. Thank you.
Evergreen candidate Matt Levicki also spoke about pipelines.
I got involved in this democratic process by running as a candidate for the Evergreen Party is to discuss Canadian energy security. The pipeline from Bruderheim to Kitimat is not yet complete. It is perhaps unwise to put ourselves in between American and Chinese oil consumption. Global oil consumption is nearing 90 million barrels a day. This is what people who support green candidates, this is what drives them. That is a high number and is projected to rise.
Wildrose candidate Shannon Stubbs came out swinging, attacking the ruling PC party for its longevity, its deficit, and its arrogance.
I believe this election, and I think you'll agree with me, the most exciting and competitive one in a long, long time, is about the future of our province. After more than 40 nearly unchallenged years in power, the PC government has lost its way. It's resorted to bullying MLAs, healthcare professionals, municipalities and school boards, wasting literally billions of your tax dollars on corporate welfare and pet projects, pay and perks for MLAs, and has posted 5 consecutive deficit budgets despite taking in record resource revenue during the past few years. It is unable to differentiate between wants and needs, which puts your priorities, education, healthcare, care for seniors, care for the vulnerable, at risk in the long term. Wildrose will do things differently. We want to change this culture of political expediency and entitlement to one of doing what's right and putting Albertans first. We will bring accountability and transparency and trust to government and focus on Albertans, not on self-interest. We in Wildrose know that we must do more than just complain. We must show you what we would do differently. And that's why we've put forward more policy proposals than any other provincial party and an alternative budget in response to the government's budgets during the past 3 years, as well as 5 pre-election commitments and 5 pledges to Albertans so far throughout this campaign. They include our number one priority, the Balanced Budget and Savings Act, the Family Pack, the Alberta Energy Dividend, the Wildrose Wait Time Guarantee, and the Alberta Accountability Act.
But Stubbs herself came under attack over her party's Alberta Energy Dividend, also known by critics as the Danibucks.
A one-time check once a year isn't going to be good enough to help anyone out. But if we take this money and invest it responsibly over many years, we can start having better services that we as Albertans deserve. We should be investing more of our money into the Heritage Fund. As we see in examples of countries such as Norway, their Heritage Fund was started, I believe, after ours, and it's worth considerably more money than ours is right now. It's that type of responsible spending that we should be looking to in order to ensure that our Heritage Fund is successful and sustainable for years to come.
That's not to say that the best way to do that is to hand each of you a $300 check. I think it is much better to put that money into our education system, into our healthcare system, so we can all live the good lives that we want. Thank you.
And hopefully we're not just going to write a check and send it off to you. We're going to plan, we're going to invest wisely, and we're going to have something there.
Overall, the crowd of more than 300 clearly favored PC candidate Jackie Fenske, who received the loudest applause at every stage of the evening.
I would like to talk about our Alberta, yours, mine, and the Alberta of tomorrow. Our Alberta with big skies and unlimited opportunity. It's an Alberta with an improved public healthcare system, where delivery of services through primary care networks, and in cases where PCNs aren't viable, the family care networks ensure access to all. It's about wellness, keeping seniors in their homes longer, and young people active. It's about funding the public system so we continue to have world-class facilities for everyone. And it's about using those dollars smarter, not giving them away to private individuals. Fort Saskatchewan and area is a growing community with significant infrastructure needs. Municipalities have benefited and applauded the MSI funding program and have encouraged an MSI2 type of program. They need predictability. They shouldn't guess what they're going to get every year. They need sustainability, and they need sufficient funding to get the projects done. Cutting back on infrastructure dollars and delaying construction is not acceptable. Are you going to stand for someone who says, oh, the Dr. Turner Lodge, or a new bridge across the Fort Saskatchewan, and improvements to Highway 15 are nice to haves? They are need to haves for our residents and our industrial and agricultural development. It's about a diversified petrochemical industry that adds value. It's more than just upgrading. And it's about a growing demand for our agricultural products. At my nomination, I stood up for lower electrical costs, and I still do. It's not just looking at the deregulated power production side where there are contracts available, but it's also the regulated portion of everyone's bills, line losses, transmission costs, and administration fees. The Premier heard and has responded with a freeze and a review on just that. It's about ensuring that landowners receive fair compensation, not only for pipelines that may cross their property, but also power lines. It's about timely decisions for them, access to the court, and better consultation. I anticipate that following the land use planning for all 7 bases, which, by the way, municipalities must be a big part of, there will be additional changes to the land bills. And I'm there because land rights are fundamental rights, and I'm about to protect them. We can continue to do the same thing that we've always done, or we can make a change for the future. We can consider new ideas. We can look beyond our borders at the practices of other jurisdictions or other countries so that we can improve our government, so that our government can get back to focusing on the priorities that matter to you, delivering on your core programs and services, and allowing you to build the kinds of communities and the kind of province that you want, so that Alberta can be a beacon of economic opportunity and prosperity, as we have a proud tradition of being. I'm delighted that our leader, Danielle Smith, has visited this constituency 4 times over the last year and a half. She knows that Fort Saskatchewan and the industrial heartland are a key economic driver to the long-term economic opportunity of our province. And she also values the priorities and principles of the farmers, the rural areas, and the small towns in the eastern part of our riding.
I think the time has come to take a look at the individual candidates. And I'm here as a member of this community who's been involved in this community, who feels a passion and a desire to make sure that we continue on with this great life that we have. We've been hearing some things that make it sound like, you know what, there's no job tomorrow, that the world is going to end. Frankly, I get up in the morning and I thank God I live in this province and we have the opportunity that we do have. And I want to not change just for the sake of change, because that causes chaos. I want to improve the things that need improving, and not everything has to be thrown out. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
This is the key decision. Do you want an MLA to go to the legislature who can and is encouraged and is supported to fight for your interests, to represent this constituency, and to put your priorities first? Or do you want to elect an MLA who goes there, by their track record, does what the party leader tells them and has to toe the party line? The constituents of Fort Saskatchewan Bakerville have shown this kind of exciting independence before through the election of people like Walter Buck and Muriel and Derek Fox out on the eastern side of our constituencies. And I think that the constituents of Fort Saskatchewan Bakerville might just show that pioneering spirit and independence once again.
Strangely, Fenske agreed with Stubbs in praising former opposition representatives elected by local voters. She, too, appeared to have trouble with the pronunciation of Abdurman.
So tonight, when you take a look at the candidates that Fort Saskatchewan has voted for before, when you look at Walter Buck, when you look at Muriel Abdurum, people voted for the person that they thought was involved, that cared, was passionate for their community, and could make a difference.
We will give the moderator, Anglican Church Minister Father David Lehman, the final word.
If you don't vote, you can't complain.